Okay, the Spurs and France goalkeeper Hugo Lloris has been charged with drink driving. He was stopped by police early hours this morning in the Gloucester Road area of West London, which is a very posh area of West London. He was charged. Obviously, he's blown over the limit. It could just be by a couple of milligrams over the limit, or it could be 2, 3, 4, 5 times over the drink driving limit. We don't know. But it's happened. But as soon as he was released from police custody and bailed, he issued a very public apology. It is on various sports websites. He's been very, very open with his statement. He's apologised to the fans and the club, and he says that his behaviour is below the standards expected of him. So yeah, he was very quick to do so. He wasn't, pressured by anyone to do so. I don't believe. I think he's actually come out and realised I'm a wally. He's due back in court second week of September on the 11th. This comes at a time when other sportsmen in the UK, even though Hugo Lloris is French, he is obviously a Spurs player. Other sportsmen in other sports have been, in trouble for drinking and some of their antics, and they are two of the key ones are Ben Stokes, England cricketer. I've covered his tale of woe for a while, and England rugby player and also plays for Sale in the rugby union, Danny. Arnie. These two in the last year have both been wallies. Danny Cipriani was a wally last week, got charged with assault, pled guilty to assault, got fined for assault. He also has to pay compensation to the police officer he assaulted. So he's a bit of a wally. He's got previous. Ben Stokes, charged with the fray, found not guilty, and we have to stress that. But the video footage is online if you want to see Ben Stokes knock two guys out. Feel free, it's online. The ECB rather you wouldn't see that. He's currently undergoing an internal investigation from the ECB, even though he was allowed to play in the last Test match, which was a disaster for England. Had these two characters been football players, and they are high profile in their sports, had they been a similar high profile in football, and Lloris is a high profile player, but he's not one of those players like a Paul Pogba, for example, who's regularly in the press for his crazy haircuts and his feuds with Jose Mourinho. Now, Hugo Lloris is a very under the radar. He's a goalkeeper for one, but he's a very under the radar player. He's well respected in the game. He's exceptionally experienced. He's just won the World Cup. He's been playing at Tottenham now for 6 years and has made over 250 appearances for the club. And he's very well respected in the game, but he's not the first football player to be banned for drink driving, which raises a bigger question of alcohol in the sport and alcohol in sport in general. These two guys, Ben Stokes was on that international duty and breached curfew, got in a fight after all his other teammates had decided to go back to the hotel, apart from him and his teammate Alex Howell. Danny Cipriani was out with his Gloucester teammates on a pre-season tour. So he hasn't even played a competitive game for the club. It's a pre-season training and match tour, and has an altercation at a nightclub as well. Both were late night drinking. Both were fighting. Hugo Lloris has obviously been out for a meal with friends or family, or maybe some teammates. He's decided to drive home, believing he hasn't had that much, and he may have only had that half a glass of wine or half a glass of beer, too much, and he's been caught. But unlike these two, who constantly bring their sports into disrepute, this guy has never brought the sport of football into disrepute until, well, getting caught. I honestly believe his apology is sincere. I honestly believe that this is an honest mistake. Personally, I'm against drinking any alcohol and driving, but you can have a minimum amount of, I think, 2 units and still legally drive. That's the drink drive limit, or how many milligrams of alcohol in your blood. Whichever's the greater. Whichever tips you balance first. Some countries it's completely illegal to drink and drive in Europe. Completely. Over here you can. There's a higher threshold in England and Wales and Scotland. Had he been in Scotland, he would have been in more trouble because their threshold for drink and driving at the alcohol level is lower. We'll find out how much trouble he's in on the 11th of September. I honestly believe he will avoid a prison sentence. He'll get a ban. I don't believe he's hit any vehicles or hit anyone. He was just pulled on a random... Oh, this guy's come out of a pub or come out of a bar or restaurant late at night. We'll pull him over. It was a complete random stop. That's what, and I honestly believe it's an honest mistake, and I honestly believe he's exceptionally honest in his apology. He's well respected within the game, not just by Tottenham fans and the media circus that surrounds Tottenham at the moment, but around by many in the game. Many. I've never seen a bad word or heard a bad word spoken like Hugo Lloris in all the years I've been watching him play football, because he's only been in the English game since 2012. In all the years I've watched football and followed football as a sport, and I do admit I do follow it less now than I used to, but I look at every day. I look at the sports websites for issues to discuss and looking at schools and reporting on things. I do look at the sports websites to gather a lot of information about where clubs stand, the results, and predicting results, things like that. Never has Hugo Lloris had a negative headline about him. He's not one of those players who has a colourful private life. He's not a high-paid athlete who's like one of these two. These two, however, are the complete opposite in terms to this guy. There are other football players I could list on here who've been done for drink driving, amongst other things. Hugo Lloris is one of those who's well respected. Never in the press for all these crazy late night antics. There are so many other players I could put down here. I mean, I could put Wayne Rooney as well. Wayne Rooney can go on here. He's also been done for drink driving, and he's also had a colourful private life. And whatever people think about Wayne Rooney, decent player that he was, yeah, he's been done for drink driving, and he's had a colourful private life, much like the two above. These three individuals, when it comes to British sport, have had very colourful private lives that are all over the press for the wrong reasons. And yeah, all of them have had alcohol-related incidents that are unsavoury. This guy, I think it's an honest mistake. I honestly do. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to leave that there. If you're a Tottenham fan, you've got a great goalkeeper there. I'm honest in that. If you're a football fan, this guy is well respected. There's a reason why he's a World Cup winner. He's good at what he does. He's one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and he's a very well respected player within the game. And the fact that apology is definitely sincere. Looking how it's worded and how little time he would have had to prepare that apology, I think that is actually a very, very sincere I mean this apology rather than one of those forced ones about certain players Ben Stokes need to do because he hasn't apologised yet. I think David Cipriani was basically told, you're apologising, we were getting sacked. I think these two, their apologies, if they ever come from Ben Stokes, David Cipriani are probably forced. This guy, I think, is one of the most honest players you can find in sport, especially in football. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Place your thoughts below, and I'll have some more videos for you soon.